How's it going, and welcome back to Zelda Secrets, the series where I'll highlight 5 obscure facts or secrets from across the Zelda series that even the most avid fans might not know. One of the best things about The Legend of Zelda is how much care and attention to detail is poured into every single entry in the series, so even the smallest parts of the games often feature cool secrets, references, or stories. In case you missed last week's episode, we covered a secret game over in the Minish Cap which involves the death of Princess Zelda, mysterious footprints on Death Mountain, and more. So click the card in the top right or link in description if you want to catch up. This time, as well as looking at a snippet of the story of a Sheikah Monk in Breath of the Wild, we'll look at a weird little Easter egg in Twilight Princess and more. Breath of the Wild's music is one of the most criticised parts of the game, and for the most part I agree that I'd like to have seen bombastic, classic Zelda music in parts. But there's no denying that the subtlety of Breath of the Wild's soundtrack is something truly unique and special, the subdued nature of which allows the sounds of the wilds to take the forefront. But there are moments where Breath of the Wild's unique soundtrack truly shines, like the marching theme of Hyrule Castle, or the Jaws-like, unnerving theme of the Molduga boss fights. And some of its best themes aren't even the originals, they're reimagined versions of themes from past games. The most obvious of these are of course the slow version of Dragon Roost Island which plays at Rito Village, bringing a tear to the eye of any Wind Waker fan, and the incredibly faithful rendition of Ocarina of Time's Zora's Domain theme, which plays at, well, Zora's Domain. But one returning theme which completely took me by surprise on a recent playthrough of the game was the theme of the Great Deku Tree, which plays during the cutscene introducing us to the forest deity for the first time. While the Korok Forest's theme itself is iconic and perfectly suits the isolated, mystical grove in which the Master Sword rests, a different theme plays during the Deku Tree's cutscene. It's actually a version of the Wind Waker's Forest Haven theme. Which in turn takes inspiration from Ocarina of Time's Kokiri Forest. Forest Haven is one of my favourite areas in the Wind Waker, and it makes sense that, just like the Rito, the return of the Koroks should mean the theme of their home island making an appearance too. Let's stay on the topic of returning Zelda songs, and this time look at Majora's Mask. The Indigos are a Terminian all-Zora band, found in the Great Bay area. They planned to play a concert during the Carnival of Time, but the Gerudo Pirates' theft of the eggs of one of the band members, Lulu, eventually results in the death of the lead guitarist, Mikau. Link can retrieve the eggs and use the Zora mask to take Mikau's place and complete their concert in the milk bar during the end credits. The band famously play a song called Ballad of the Windfish, which despite its name sounds nothing like the song from Link's Awakening. But a few members of the band do play themes from older Zelda games. When Link walks into Evan's room in the Zora Hall, he'll be playing a song on his piano, which is actually the Game Over theme from the original Zelda. The same is true for Tijo's room, who'll be playing the cave theme from A Link to the Past, and for Japas, the bassist, who'll be playing the original Dungeon theme, which are all cool little Easter eggs for fans of the older games in the series. Breath of the Wild's Sheikah Monks, despite being incredibly numerous and playing a massive role in the game, remain an enigma. For the most part, we don't know who these monks were, only that each one built his own shrine as a personal test for the hero, in the name of the goddess Hylia. But there's a character that gives us a little more information about a monk. Olkin is a Sheikah man living in Kakariko village. He's a counterpart character to Steen, While Steen grows swift carrots and preaches that offense is the best form of defense, Olkin grows fortified pumpkins and trusts in a strong defense above all else. Aside from this small rivalry, Olkin and Steen aren't particularly interesting characters, except that Olkin gives us a tiny bit of insight into the life of one of the Sheikah monks. He'll tell Link that, long ago, a wise master known simply as the Swordsman was enshrined, right in this village no less. It's said that if you overcome his trial, you'll master the secret art of defense. However, no one knows exactly what this trial entails. This tiny detail is one of the only things we learn about the life of an individual ancient monk. Olkin is talking about Talo Neeg, who resides in the shrine just outside of Kakariko village, and presents Link with the challenge known as Talo Neeg's teaching. It's the first combat-focused shrine Link is likely to encounter on his journey, and serves as a tutorial for the game's more advanced combat techniques. But now we know that this monk wasn't just a pious servant of Hylia, but a wise master, known only as the Swordsman, who was enshrined near the village. Fittingly, this monk passes on his skills to Link, teaching him the Flurry Rush, Perfect Guard, and Charge Attack. The monks are one of the most mysterious parts of the game, mystical ancient masters who fade away after gifting Link their Spirit Orb. It's great to see a little snippet of a monk's story, of the Swordsman, the wise master who was enshrined near Kakariko so that he could pass on his knowledge thousands of years later. Before the birth of the Kingdom of Hyrule, the first hero embarked on his adventure. This Link forged the ancient goddess sword into the legendary Master Sword, and stood toe-to-toe with the origin of all evil, Demise, in single combat. But regardless of this hero's strength or bravery, his quest would have ended in failure had it not been for the help of one individual, a majestic creature whose crimson hair glowed like sunset, Groose. Groose is a burly lad, a resident of Skyloft whose soft spot for Zelda causes him to resent Link's relationship with her. He's the stereotypical bully, bulky and muscular, and constantly shadowed by his lackeys, Colton and Stritch. Despite Groose's setup as a minor antagonist at the beginning of the game, he actually has one of the best character arcs in the game, ending in him putting aside his personal rivalry with Link to help the hero save the world. But before he ever sets foot in the land below the clouds, he's locked into a fierce vendetta against Link, seeing him as a rival in his quest for Zelda's love. And this rivalry can be summed up in one little Easter egg in the game. In Groose's room in the academy, there were a few cool items which helped to paint a better picture of his character. And my personal favourite of his possessions is a punching bag, complete with a crude drawing of Link pinned to the material. I absolutely love details like this, and imagining Groose taking out his frustration at Link on a sketch pinned to a punching bag is brilliant. Who is the most powerful character in Twilight Princess? Link? Midna? Ganondorf? No. The true most powerful character takes an unassuming form, living a life in Castletown, Dr. Bohr Ville, a man with an otherworldly ability. Dr. Bohr Ville is Castletown's medical professional, a hunchbacked old man who looks to be the descendant of the lake scientist from Ocarina of Time. But what's interesting about Dr. Bohr Ville is an item used during his part of the game, where Link is tasked with bringing him an invoice from Telma's bar, presumably the tab he's worked up drinking there. The invoice itself is a piece of parchment with Hylian text scrawled over it. But this isn't just a normal invoice. You can actually read the parchment to find out just how much Dr. Bohr Ville owes, reading 175 480 000 175,480,000 rupees. And you already know that I'm not just gonna let that number sit there. We've got to work out what it means. Telma's bar sells a few different drinks, but we definitely know that it sells beer, in brown bottles with beer in Hylian on the front. If we assume that this invoice is all for beer, and if we estimate the price of a Hylian beer at a highballed 20 rupees, it'd mean that this doctor's ploughed through 8,774,000 beers while working up this invoice. If he's around 80 years old and started drinking at Telma's every single day from the day he turned 18, then this man's been necking over 387 beers a day. Even if only half of his bill was on beers, and each one set him back 50 rupees, which is the same price as a shield at Malomart, he'd still have to have been seeing off just over 77 a day for his entire life. Dr. Bohr Ville is no mere Hylian. He's a machine with a talent for drinking that outclasses anyone. If the fate of Hyrule was settled with a drinking contest rather than with swords and magic and destiny, Bohr Ville would be the true hero chosen by the gods. All jokes aside, I love little things like this from the developers. It's great to see the teams who develop our favourite games have fun with the work, even in the tiniest, most light-hearted ways like this. Thanks for watching this video. What are some of your favourite little Zelda secrets? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like or subscribe if you haven't already for more Zelda content. Cheers guys, and I'll see you next time.